Mostly I'll be speaking in English and some parts which may be as needed will be in Hindi. We all know by now that what is the difference? What is the difference between humans and animals? If this is the question asked, then some of the so-called intelligent section of the society will be upset, and because nobody would like such a comparison. What are you talking? They will not let the person speak at all further. Just hearing this one line, what is the difference between humans and the animals? They will almost be even revolting. But when a learned person is giving a talk and he speaks on this topic, then there is some sense it makes. So everyone is very attentive and they give a lot of importance to this question. They are not surprised because they are waiting for some enlightenment to happen on that topic. So animals cannot understand God, whereas human beings can understand God. That is the first difference. And now you say, how is it? Some people say animals are just like those who have pets in their house. They think there is no difference between animals and humans. Even the people who are God conscious, they are practicing their, they're reading Bhagavad Gita, they are reading Vedas, they are reading books of philosophers like Ramakrishna, the Vivekanand. Such people, they say there's no difference between animals and human beings. They are just like us. So it's a very casual way of saying, and this is going to harm one a lot when he says like this. There is a vast difference. It just cannot be compared. Just as black and white color, they have no similarity. Black does not take any hue. White color is the color of purity. So where is the resemblance? Can you say black is color is like white color? No. So you cannot say animals are just like human beings. Those who have pets, they might, in their whatever playful way, make such a statement because they love their pets, their dogs, their cats. Over, sometimes a woman is seeing if she has a pet and she has a small child, a toddler, then she says, "I have two sons. I have two kids," she says. First is the toddler, the second is the dog, the pet that entertains mother and son whole day. So, such mentality is very serious. And animals are sometimes very violent. Now, you will see humans too are violent at times. There are news in the everyday day to day news about the crime and the violence committed by humans. And let me now clear it that those people in God consciousness and they practice devotion to God in the right manner do not have such violent tendencies. So that distinguishes between the human and animalistic nature. So a human being who is God conscious has all qualities that define a human being. Not all human beings may have these qualities, and at such times it's a question mark whether that human being has fallen from his position as a human being because he entertains all kind of violence and all activities, all the qualities that are not supposed to be seen in a human being. So definitely there's a difference between human being and animals. So not all human beings may have the goodness, the, their character may not possess the goodness that it requires of. The God conscious people, because they practice devotion to the Lord, are very much elevated in let's say, like one who is practicing God consciousness, he believes in God or the Supreme Lord, he will have all the noble qualities that the Lord would like to see in a human being. And the Lord removes him from the bondage of karmas, and which is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. So again and again coming back to this world of sorrows. And as in Bhagavad Gita it is said, this as it is said by the great the Acharya uh, who gave this Bhagavad Gita teachings. So in that he says, this whole material world is dukhalaya shashvatam. This is always full of janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. Some people call it mrityu lok. So whatever it be, their understanding is this is more or less uh, closer, that we are supposed to be doing devotion to Lord and going back uh, to Godhead. Now, why are some so who will understand this message of the Lord? So, who is qualified to understand? So, rather, such people who follow the Lord, the Supreme, are definitely elevated, and they are known as Mahatma or Mahapurush. That is the way they are termed as, or Mahanta. So, who is a Mahatma is the question. The animalistic tendencies nevertheless take any human being to any higher goal. So, one who is lazy in carrying out his duties, doing his, carrying out his duties, following his duties, responsibilities that are prescribed for a human being, he must degrade day by day. And the degradation leads the tendencies to animalistic. The animal cannot discriminate between right and wrong. It works on instincts, not between what is right and wrong. So that's the basic difference, that that is the basic characteristic that brings out the difference between the two. So one must make every endeavor to serve the Supreme Lord, the God, whether he be belonging to any religion, caste. He should make an effort to understand what are his duties as a human being on the earth planet. Why is he here? Because death is imminent. Once there is birth, it is said there will be death immediately. That is decided. So uh, we will see that why would one go for the noble qualities, and why some people do not move at all from their position. We all believe that change is, the change is permanent. Nothing as permanent as change. So what do you mean by that? Every situation in the life is subjected to change. There will never be any time when when there is an event that occurs and then it doesn't change. It must either get more, um, you know it must improve more in terms of its quality, or it must degrade. The change is there. So what about human beings? Are you ready to change? If you have some uh, if you have some weaknesses, are you ready for a change? Then what are the weaknesses? Violence. If you commit violence, then what is the difference between you and the human being? Like the you and the characteristic of human being. Like animals do the violence, not the humans. So are you ready to change? We can change to feel ready. Even if we don't feel ready to change, we can. I'm reading one of the message from one of my groups that has been sent. So it says, even if we don't feel ready to change, we can change to feel ready. Start from wherever we are, not where we think we need to be. So that's very important. Most of the times we are given to see and focus on where we want to be, and we focus on that and lose a lot of things in the process. So we are to focus on wherever we are and not where we would like to see ourselves to be. During the course of our life, we all sooner or later recognize that we need to change. Among all the rooms we may live in during our life, the largest room is room for improvement. Despite being aware of the need for improvement, we often feel strangely, strongly reluctant. Very few moments actually make us feel ready to change. Such moments come from factors beyond our control or from situations that suddenly make us aware of how far we are from what we wanted to be or even where we could have been if we had pulled our life together. These moments may also come when we see someone who we consider our equal or peer rise to heights that seem very unreachable to us. So here he gives an account of when the need to change can be felt, and if we act on it instantly, then what it could lead to. So there are various levels in it, physical and mental. So if we bypass the mental level, going to the intellectual level to cultivate intention and moving to the physical level to take action. So at a mental level, we curb all the impediments in terms of doubts, confusion, the hesitations, and to cultivate intention. So intention is what all matters. And then we move on to the physical level to take action. We can commence the journey to change. So gradually, emotions conducive and supportive of change will build. So starting can feel like very difficult, even like a poison. But if we choose not to depend on our feelings for our actions, a choice that can seem like poison initially, as the Bhagavad Gita warns, in 18.37, we will eventually reach a state of nectar where supportive emotions will come more frequently and forcefully, making change easier and more sustainable. So that's very important. Many times we take up tasks that are really very difficult, and we leave it in midway. Why is it that? Because there is no one to support us. There is no one who we can talk to about it. And at such times, then because of the force of the opposing forces, the strength of the opposing forces, we give up the task. So such things happen in our life many a times. So that makes you feel you are not ready for change, and the impetus to change comes intermittently and declines with time, leaving us the daunting prospect of an effort that seems enormous, even prohibitive. So, to change for better, we need to bypass our emotions by cultivating the intention using our intelligence, and then leaping to action by taking small steps independent of how we feel. So, small steps are very important, very essential. Taking a bigger leap in the start is not recommended, and this I'm talking in general, and we learn it that way because in the material world, certain things that seem very daunting we have never done. So uh, if there's something that comes before us, then always this is the course of action. Taking a small step is a small step in that direction will build up all the favorable situations slowly, and eventually you shall see that the strength is increasing, and you are better you are in a better position to handle the change. Not that each time you say, oh, it's daunting, it's daunting, it's daunting, and then you know each time you say it's daunting, then there is a effect also to it, and it builds up over a period of time. You don't realize it, and then you say, "Oh, this task is impossible." So such things happen, and this is because you did not pay attention properly. You do not carry out properly. So this goes on, and it builds up. And when it is too much, you feel that you are not ready for the change, and then you have to feel that you have to feel that ready. At least should be a feeling of readiness to change. The change may or may not be there. So, to change for the better, we need to bypass our emotions by cultivating the intention, using our intelligence, and then leaping to action by small steps. We just discussed this how. So, though moving from the intellectual to the physical level without the bridge of supportive emotions can feel like poison, actually, the incremental change will eventually bring supportive emotions and take us into the state of nectar, where change becomes easier and more sustainable. That's what this writer, the author of this post, he's speaking. So he says next, think it over. If you wait for some impetus to come to start the journey towards improvement, what's wrong with that? What can we do when we don't just feel ready to change? So, how does changing makes us eventually ready to change? The Bhagavad Gita shloka 18.37. You can read it now. I do not have it handy. I don't even remember it. But it says that which in the beginning may be just like poison, at the end is like nectar, and which awakens one to self realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. And that's all we all are trying for. As human beings, we like to be called good. We like to be in good environment. We like goodness all around, and we always strive for better prospects in our life. The situations may be good all the times, and this is we know by now. Why do we desire so? No one likes the sorrows all the time, or no one likes to be in a problematic situation all the time. He's always seeking solace, and he always wants to get rid and free from all the problems and always be in a good situation. And now, by now, we know why we are part and parcels of the Supreme Law. The, the moment we forget this, we commit this kind of impediments ourselves. And it builds up, as I told earlier, it builds up, and one has to then rectify it sooner as he realizes. And there's no way other than taking small steps to improve that situation at that particular time. You cannot take up something else and leave that aside. It has to be dealt. Sooner or later, you will be helped. But if you ignore it and take up something else to then just put it aside because it was like pestering a lot, then again you will have to face it in the future. You cannot escape. So that's the law of this material world. And so it's always better to rectify our mistakes, accept them, and know your limitations. And if there is something that is taking you away uh, from the readiness to change, then it's time that you feel ready for a change. So, who is one who can understand this? That was the question. And it requires intelligence, of course, but everybody can make a decision once they understand the logistics of all this ups and downs that go on, and that is the change. When that is there, then why don't we change? So that's the question. So, who will change is the one who is understanding all this. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.